Power 4.4, because you know what? The people are the power.
Yeah.
Tune in to the best radio show on planet Earth, SME, from 6 to 7 every Tuesday. We're truly undefeated and can't be beat. Even though the show is called SME, it's not just about me. We work as a team to build our dream.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and heavy tea up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack Mr. Magic Molly Mall.
It's your host, King JTH, here for episode 4 of SME. Today, we have a special guest, Ray Signor, Philadelphia Eagles own wide receiver. How you doing here? How you doing, Ray?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing outstanding. The weather's good, and man, I'm just enjoying my life.
That's good. I got a lot of questions to hear for you. First off, when did you become interested in playing football?
You know, that's actually a great question, and it's probably a better question you realize. So I really wasn't really interested in playing football most of my life. I mean, I played like as a kid, like you do in the community, in your neighborhood. I played with my friends. And then when I went to high school, I wasn't going to play football. I was just going to play basketball because I consider myself a basketball player. And then my coach in high school, he made me play football. And then I still didn't like it, even though I got a scholarship to play football in college. You know, but then I quickly realized that I was going to have an opportunity to play professional football, and they was going to pay me a lot of money. I started liking it a lot more then.
That's what money would do to you. I'm going to pass it off to my man, Nick. Nick, he going to ask you some questions as well.
What's your opinion on the new hip drop tackle ban?
Say that again?
What's your opinion on the hip drop tackle ban? That's a new NFL rule that was put in place.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with the hip drop. I'm very familiar with it. I mean, you know, I'm going to tell you like this. So, you know, as a player, man, you know, I'm all about player safety. You know, the fact of the matter is, man, the reason that they instituted that rule is because guys are starting to get hurt, right? And so, you know, if anything that's going to help a guy, you know, prolong his career, stuff like that, be safe, you know, because at the end of the day, man, you know, we all got families that we want to go home to and want to, you know, raise our kids and stuff like that. So I'm glad about it.
When did you first start to take football serious?
Well, I started taking football serious really probably my junior year in college. Since my junior year in college, man, I started having the kind of success on the football field that I wanted to have, and that I always thought I was capable of having. And like I said, then I started realizing that you know what, man, if you take this serious, man, you could probably make a living doing this.
Nick's turn again.
If I'm correct, you were drafted by the Steelers, right?
Yes, I was.
All right, so I'm a huge Steelers fan, so here's my question. Who were your 3 favorite Steelers teammates for the short time you were with them?
So my 3 favorite Steelers teammates would probably be me and Joe Green. Now, I'm going back before you guys were born now.
Oh,
When
yeah?
I was playing for the Steelers, there were no Ravens around. Right? So my 3 favorite players were me and Joe Green, Benny Cunningham, who was the tight end, played the same position I played, and a guy by the name of Mel Blunt.
Blunt? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know a lot about him.
Mel Blunt was a beast.
That's
All-time
awesome.
legend.
Yeah,
Did you get to know those 3 at all?
I hate to say it as a Ravens fan, but he's an all-time legend.
Did you get to know those 3 at all?
Say that again?
Did you get to know those 3 at all?
Sure, then, you know, that's one of the beauties of being a part of a team, right? You get a chance to, you know each other, hang out, talk, exchange ideas, and all of that stuff. So, yes.
That's awesome.
I noticed that you used to play tight end. I think specifically when you were in high school and potentially even in college. So what made you switch from being a tight end to a wide receiver?
Well, let me take you all the way back. So in high school, I was a quarterback, right? So I played quarterback in high school, and then when I went to college, I started playing outside linebacker, right? But then my junior year, the year that I really started having a lot of success, they moved me to the tight end. And so the thing that now, what you may not know is I'm 6'9" inches tall, but the reason I started playing wide receiver was because I was as big as I was the fastest guy on the team. And you know, wide receivers are typically fast, can run and catch. And so I was a big guy that could do what those smaller guys could do. And so they moved me to wide receiver to try to get me a few more touches.
Very interesting. All world man can play throughout the whole field. I like players like that. But it's back to Nick.
All right. How much does the media and reporters actually know? Meaning, how accurate is the information they report?
Well, you know, that depends on the reporter, to be quite honest with you. You know, some guys, you know, some reporters, they report it as they see it. Some people like to embellish. You know, there's an old saying that I remember a reporter said, I'm never going to let the truth get in the way of a good story. So, you know, that's how some people are.
Yeah. Sometimes tell some of those stories are exaggerated, but it's always good to hear from a player's perspective.
Yeah, it was so different like when I played than it is now because we didn't have social media, we didn't have camera phones, we didn't have cell phones. So people could create the narrative that they wanted to create, and because they had the power of the pen, you know, people believe what they read, right?
Yeah.
What was the hardest part about being an NFL player during your time? And I guess, you know, you just mentioned that nowadays we have social media. So what do you think is the hardest part about being a football player or athlete today?
Another part about being successful, period, is to remember why you're there, right? That's number one. Remember what got you there, and not forgetting where you came from. Because it's so easy, you know. When you're in the NFL, people worship you. People make exceptions for you. And if you're not well grounded, right? If you're not well grounded, you don't know who you are. If you don't remember where you came from, and know that if you don't remember where you came from, you're destined to go back to it. So, man, those things, you know, just being grounded, just having integrity, just staying focused, because there's a lot of, like, think about how it is in your life right now. Just living in the world that we live in, you got so many distractions, right? But can you imagine being a professional athlete where people know you got money, people know you got fame, and everybody, you know, not everybody, but a lot of people out to get something for nothing from you.
Back to Nick.
This is kind of a unique question. What was your opinion or thoughts on Chuck Noll as a coach with the little time you were with him?
Well, Chuck Noll, I thought Chuck Noll was a great guy. I didn't understand. I really believe that Chuck Noll was a Christian. I don't know that for sure because I wasn't. But he had a demeanor about him. He had a glow about him. He had a persona about him. Man, one thing about playing with the Steelers, when they drafted him out of college, they had just won their 4th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So when a guy like you came along, right, they, you know, it was different because they were an established team, and I'm trying to figure it out. So I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with Chuck Noll, but I got a chance to watch him from a distance.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
What was your workout routine when you were playing in the NFL? And also, you can talk about college as well as high school if you want.
Well, you know, as a kid growing up, you know, as a pro athlete, you know, you got to work out a lot. So I worked out. I just worked out, man. I used to love to work out when it was the hottest. I loved to work out when nobody else wanted to work out. I just loved to work out because I love physical fitness. And then, you know, to get paid to do it, man, it was nonstop.
Back to Nick.
What was it like getting drafted?
You know, being drafted was a dream come true, right? Because, you know, most pro athletes, if you're an amateur and you're trying to go pro, you know, most pro sports have a draft, So it's a privilege to get drafted, So, I remember the night before the draft, I got calls from different NFL teams saying, hey, we're going to draft you tomorrow. And even on draft day, teams would come and say, hey, man, who's draft you when you want to play? And so I spent my draft day, like, in my house, because I went to the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin. So I spent my day in the house sitting by the phone. And that was kind of a challenge because it wasn't like it is now where the draft was on TV and you could see who got drafted and when you might get drafted. And we didn't have that opportunity, so we had to wait for long extended periods of time until we found out if you'd been drafted or not. So that was a little bit challenging, but to realize I had gotten drafted was it was so exciting.
Must have been.
What advice would you give to current day NFL players?
Well, I'll give a lot of advice to players. I've actually had the opportunity, I'm an ordained minister, so I've had the opportunity to speak to several NFL teams, just about all of them. And the biggest advice I give people, is number one, enjoy the moment. Enjoy it within reason. Remember I said earlier about don't forget where you came from and don't forget why you're there. Because, see, people will take, you got a lot of people out here, like the distractions. And so I tell people, stay focused, become the best you can be and enjoy the journey. Because it's not a destination. And some people think that once you get drafted, once you get on the team, that you've arrived. But see, in life, you never arrive. Always strive to get better. And make sure you hang out with the right people because, the company that you keep or influence, says a lot about you. And it says a lot about how far you will be able to go in life.
Yeah, that's all facts.
What is it like for an NFL player to play against their favorite NFL team or a team they used to play for?
Oh, man, it's great. I mean, that's why we're there. One reason that you play sports is because you like to compete. So you always want to play against the best. You always want to play, measure yourself. See, one advantage that athletes have is this. Like sometimes people say, I got a test in school, I got a test coming up, this, that, and the other. And a lot of people that don't come from a sports background, they look at tests and get intimidated. But we're wired and embrace a test. We embrace challenges. Like, man, I can't wait to see where I'm at, to see how far I've come and see how far I need to go. And so, man, you live for that. That's why you're there.
Who do you think were the top 5 best players in your era?
Well, in my era, one guy I played against, his name was Lawrence Taylor. And so Lawrence Taylor was, some people say the best football player ever to live. So you had Lawrence Taylor, of course, me and Joe Green. Now, mind you, that Pittsburgh Steelers team that I played on had 13 guys off that team that went to the Hall of Fame. So that's a tough question, right? Because, then when I went to the Philadelphia Eagles, we had one guy. And maybe in the Philadelphia Eagles history, in the whole history of the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe 2 guys have gone to the Hall of Fame. Can you imagine 13 guys off of one team in the Hall of Fame?
Truly
that's
amazing
incredible.
Team.
Yeah. To me personally, I think Lawrence Taylor is the second greatest football player ever. I gotta go with my guy Ray Lewis. He brought a new franchise, a Super Bowl within 5 years. Not a lot of people can say that.
I know Ray. Ray's a great guy. He's a great football player. He was a great football player. Nobody can argue with you there.
Do you think NFL players in the modern day are getting paid too much money?
I don't think anybody's getting paid too much money. If they're going to pay you, then I think you should get it. Because I want you to focus on something, right? So how much, let's just say like Lamar Jackson's making $60 million a year, right? Can you imagine how much the guy that's paying him is making? And he ain't got to take none of those tackles. He ain't got to go no passes. He ain't got to do none of that. And, remember the lifespan of a pro athlete is a lot shorter than the lifespan of an owner.
That's true. I respect that answer a lot.
That's a fact. Okay.
Yeah.
I know I just talked about the top 5 players in your era. What do you think were the top 3 teams that you had to go up against in your era?
That I had a chance to play against?
Yes.
I mean, so when I was playing, so we went to the Super Bowl when I was with the Eagles my first year. And our rival at that time was the Dallas Cowboys. They were pretty good. And of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, were very good. And then the Giants with Lawrence Taylor and those guys, man, those are all great teams, great Man, it was great to play against teams like that. I enjoyed it a lot.
Who do you think is the greatest